Hello, my poster submission is on the development of a hybrid amorphous selenium CMOS sensor for the Selena neutrino experiment. To begin with, the Selena neutrino experiment will utilize amorphous selenium-82 coupled to pixelated CMOS imagers to probe fundamental neutrino physics, such as a search for neutrinos double beta decay. To do this, we use CMOS imaging devices, which allow for excellent track geometry and energy reconstruction of radioactive events within the selenium bulk. Here we show a conceptual design of the ton-scale Selena detector modules, which include pixels with a 10 micron pitch and an exposed electrode. We then deposit 5 millimeters of amorphous selenium and apply a high voltage, which drifts any ionized charge onto the pixels. We can stack these devices to allow for a final target mass of 10 tons. Below that, we have our simulated double beta decay event within the Selena detector, where each X and Y pixel has a pitch of 10 microns, and we can resolve the Z position using a combination of the diffusion of the track as well as the time of arrival of charge onto the pixels. As I mentioned before, we will use the Selena experiment to perform a search for neutrinos double beta decay. We can do this because the Q value of selenium-82 sits at around 3 MeV, which is above most natural radioactive backgrounds. Any further backgrounds can be distinguished against using track geometry reconstruction and event timing. Here we see a simulated spectrum for a 100-ton-year exposure, and we can see a clear excess of events in the simulated experiment data above the 2 neutrino background for a neutrinoless half-life of 10 to the 28 years. Additionally, I should mention that we have expanded our science goals to include both solar neutrino spectroscopy and serial neutrinos, which are discussed in our white paper submission. I will now discuss our current and future prototyping of the sensors. Here we see our current prototype, which includes 500 microns of amorphous selenium deposited on the top metal 2- CMOS imager. On the right, we have our first results of single electron imaging from a strontium-90 source using our devices. And while testing is still ongoing, we've already moved on to designing and prototyping our own custom CMOS imager known as the Top Metal SE. To do this, we take advantage of a very unique opportunity, which is the first fully free and open source process design kit offered by a semiconductor foundry. And this allowed me to approach analog integrated circuit design as someone with a physics background. And I'm proud to say that we submitted our first prototype for tape out in June and will be receiving the devices back in the fall of 2022. Here I show a general structure of the prototype that was submitted for tape out, which includes the charge sensitive amplifier as well as a rolling shutter readout and the simulated output on the right. Moving forward, we are looking both towards our next iteration and eventually our final iterations, which we hope to include a hexagonal pixel design, a 10 micron pixel pitch, a time of arrival measurement. We hope to achieve a 10 electrons of noise, as well as adding a digital pixel sensor structure to allow for faster readout rather than a rolling shutter. Thank you.